Elon Musk said, cancel Netflix for the health of your kids. And honestly, after seeing some of the clips, I get it. This goes way beyond Netflix, though. I think this opens a broader conversation of how media is shaping us. Let's unpack it.
Correct response. Like cotton candy clouds floating in a blue sky, Banafi will slide that runway. Banafi, tell us why you chose this delicious dress.
As a transberry, I love living out loud as my most authentic self. And I wanted to dress as bold and unique as I am, which, let's face it, is a tall order.
Honestly, guys, I get why people are canceling their subscriptions. I get why parents are like upset and canceling the subscriptions because Strawberry Shortcake, I used to watch this when I was babysitting my niece and nephew, and I would watch it. I mean, not because I enjoyed it, but I would watch it with them, and there was never anything. It was just a cute show for kids. And now there's like a whole transberry in there. They're putting trans in kids' show. I think it's quite insane, actually, because what is the point of adding trans into kids' show? It's so confusing for kids, and it almost feels like they're pushing this agenda to like the most vulnerable people in our society, which is kids. I don't blame people for unsubscribing to Netflix, because if I'm a parent and I see and I know that these are the things that my kids are seeing, it gets worse, guys. It really does. These are the things my kids are being exposed to. I will immediately cancel Netflix, and I will start a petition for everyone to cancel their subscription, every parent to cancel their subscription, because this is not what we signed up for.
I know that you guys are busy, but as you would see, if you looked at her and not her chart, Bailey is not a boy. And by treating her like one, you are completely ignoring who she is. You're making her feel insignificant and humiliated. And that's not gonna help her feel good or safe or calm. So, from here on out, please recognize her for who she is.
If you would look at her and not the medical records. So a boy that decided to identify as a girl, all of these people are children, by the way. A boy that decides to identify as a girl, let's not look at the medical records. Let's not look at the charts. Let's focus on the fact that this child wants to wear a dress, and we should just look at everything as if she's a girl. How unsafe is that? Not only are they planting the seed of confusion in kids, they're also doing it in a way that is unsafe. The one place where your gender identity should not even be brought up, especially as children, is the hospital, because we need to treat you for the actual gender that you are so we can cure whatever sickness. And now you're putting it in the minds of kids that even the hospital, they should identify as them as the gender they choose to be and not their actual gender. This is ridiculous. You can't plant ideas that are already quite ridiculous for kids to be exposed to, and then also now do it in a way that's unsafe.
Nightshade's pronouns are they, them.
He or she just doesn't fit who I am.
My apologies. Please switch there, please.
From what I know, Transformers is about cars and machines that can speak. Why are we putting pronouns in them? Why are we putting pronouns? Now your child is running up to you talking about, Mommy, what is they, them? I want to be a they, them. Hello. And I also feel like this conversation is already quite hard for adults to wrap their head around. There's still like adults like us that are still like not understanding this whole pronouns anyway, and now we expect kids to understand it. Like, it's just so confusing for them. Those little babies should not be exposed to this complicated ideas or necessarily ideas, and then now they want to be they them. They don't even know what they them means. They don't even know why they them exist. Honestly, I don't know.
Trying to tell me something before. What? Earlier in the lift, before the Nothosaurus went all crazy. It seems super important. It was. The truth is, Sammy, I've fallen for you.
Lord have mercy.
Like, hard. Real hard.
Jurassic World, you know? Jurassic World. Since when did this happen in Jurassic World? I thought it was about dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, guys.
I don't even know when.
Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at this. Jurassic World, guys. Protect the kids.
I thought Jurassic World was about dinosaurs too. I didn't know the LGBTQ ideas are being pushed on children aggressively, in fact. A young girl watching it and thinking, oh, can I kiss girls? Is it allowed to kiss girls? Is it normal to kiss girls? Parents, you need to do the extra work of making sure your kids are watching the right things, making sure they're consuming the right things. Because this is where our world is going. This is where our world is. Where they are going to push ideologies on your kids. They're going to push different agendas on them. And because they know they're vulnerable, because they know that this is the age that it can get them and sow the seed of confusion in them. You have to be careful what your kids watch. If it comes to not watching TV, you got to do what you got to do. Because this cannot be what our kids are watching. Because they would grow up to be confused. They will grow up to have so many questions and not know whether they're boy or girl, or not know what their sexuality is, because there's so many shows that's giving them different things and planting different ideas in their minds. So please and please, if you've got kids, you have to pay attention. Don't rely on Netflix calling it the kids channel that you automatically think is safe. It's not safe. We can see from these different clips that it's not safe for your kids to just watch any show on Netflix. So if what your best solution is to unsubscribe from Netflix, honestly, I get it, because I would. If I'm a parent, I would. I know this conversation is about kids and what kids have been exposed to, but I think it actually leads to a bigger conversation of the power of media and the influence of media in our lives and how it shapes our worldview. Sometimes we don't realize that the little things that we watch and the music that we listen to and the books that we consume, those things are shaping the way we view life. And we can all be honest, a lot of the things that we consume are shaped by worldly views. Like, I can be honest with you and tell you, like, my R&B playlist, there's nothing godly about it. Let me tell you something. I'm working on it. I'm being convicted gradually every day on some of these songs. But my R&B playlist, there's nothing godly about it. Some of the books I've read, some of the books that I have on my bookshelf, some of them are just not godly. I love a thriller. They promote sometimes violence and they promote these different ideas. But the truth is, what we consume matters. It's not just for kids, it's for adults. If we watch all these different shows, and Netflix is on the hot seat now, and so I'm going to use Netflix as the example. We've seen the shows on Netflix where the girls are beautiful, they dress nicely, they're single, they're in the city. I'm not talking about Sex and the City, but I mean, most shows are kind of like around that idea. Then the city, they're living their best life, they're in relationship dilemmas, they're figuring out their lives. But the truth is, at the core of those shows, as fun as they are, as exciting as they are, at the core of them, there's probably sexual morality being promoted. And somehow they're normalizing those ideas in those shows. Therefore, if we consume those things long enough, we are going to normalize those ideas. We become desensitized to sin. That's what it is. The more we watch things that are not aligned with our principles as Christians, we become almost passive about sin. If you watch movies about violence enough, if you watch movies that promote greed enough, if you watch these things enough, there's so little seeds in your heart that begins to grow into something else, and we begin to kind of normalize these ideas and make us feel like maybe they're not so bad at the end of the day. That's why the Bible says, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. Because God knows that guarding our heart, it's so important. Guard the things that we consume, guard the things that feed us and influence us, because they shape our worldview, they shape who we are. So this conversation may have started about kids. It may have started about what Netflix is promoting to kids. Yes, that's very valid. And I still stand by my idea that if you're parents, I truly think you should probably unsubscribe to Netflix. But it goes beyond that. It goes beyond just Netflix and kids. It's for everybody. We are being shaped every single day by media. media. By the social media we consume, the content we decide to watch, the music we listen to, the books we read, the movies, the shows, they're everywhere and there's so much noise. So as Christians, we have to wake up and be intentional about the things that we listen to. I'm not saying we have to be perfect. I'm not saying go delete all the music you enjoy. I'm not saying go and don't watch your favorite movie. I'm not saying, oh, you need to just be perfect, because none of us are perfect. We are in the world at the end of the day. But the truth is we just have to be a little bit more intentional. And sometimes you may have a playlist full of sexy songs. You may have all your shows are about violence because that's what you enjoy and you're a Christian. But sometimes you may want to listen to a song and God whispers to you, maybe you don't. And sometimes there's a little conviction in your heart, like you want to watch that movie and you thought, maybe I shouldn't. Pay attention to those little convictions, because especially the more you walk, the more you walk with God, the more you get convicted about these little things. God will whisper to you and say, maybe don't listen to that. And I know that that's been happening to me lately. There are movies that I would have gone to watch, but it's just a little something that said, don't go and watch it. It doesn't mean I'm perfect. It doesn't mean I'm not going to go watch another one. But God really just, the more we walk with God and the closer we are in building our relationship, God really does whisper to us on some of these things that he doesn't want us to be exposed to. Guard your hearts. They're telling us sexual immorality is okay. They're telling us lust is okay. They're telling us sex with married people is okay. They're telling us having wild night and one night stands is okay. They're telling us greed is okay. They're telling us pride is okay, violence is okay. They're putting those ideas in our minds, and we have to guard our hearts. We can't consume everything as well. We can all learn something from this discourse. Parents, you have to be really careful about what your kids watch. You can't just assume because it's a kids channel they can just watch anything on there. Apparently you have to screen everything that your kids watch now, which honestly, I don't think every parent has the time, but this is where we are at. And you have to be very intentional what your kids are exposed to or what they watch. And this also applies to adults. Like I've said, we also have to be intentional about the things that we consume. You may think it doesn't influence you. You may think you're above being influenced, but the truth is media is very powerful and it influences us whether we want it or not. So we also have to be discerning. We also have to be intentional about the things that we consume, because if we're not intentional, we're going to start normalizing sin. We're going to be desensitized to sin. And we all know that's not a good idea, especially when we're Christians. We all know that's not good. And that's why God said, guard your hearts. Anyways, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this whole Netflix conversation, it is in fact right for parents and people to unsubscribe from Netflix? What do you think about adults and just people in general, about how we get influenced on a day-to-day by the things we consume, the books we read, the shows we watch? What do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation with you guys. As always, I hope this has been useful and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.